Hi everyone, welcome to Honey Drops Tarot. This is a general reading for the sign of Capricorn, Sun, Moon, Rising, or Venus. Capricorn, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for all of your likes, shares, and subscribes. I truly appreciate it. Just a quick note, please do not fall for any scammers. I will never reach out to solicit for a private reading. I do offer private readings, and if you're interested in signing up for one of those or in making a donation, the information regarding that can be found in the About section of my YouTube page, and I thank you so much in advance. Capricorn, sorry, I've got a little bit of sunlight coming through the window there. I hope it's not too distracting. I'm going to be using two decks for your reading today. The first one is the Wild Unknown Alchemy Oracle deck for the overall energy, and the Tarot of the Abyss for your tarot reading today. Cards have been pre-shuffled, and I'm going to get the overall energy for, sorry, I feel like it's a little crooked, for Capricorn, please. Angel, spirits, guides, what messages do you have for Capricorn, Sun, Moon, Rising, or Venus? Wow, beautiful. I've never gotten this card before. Number 36 introduces to a 9 in the major arcana, which is the Hermit card, which is Virgo energy. For you, it is breath. Wow. You know what Spirit just showed? First of all, I haven't used this deck very often, so some of the cards are still so brand new to me. This is one of those cards. But you know what it made me think of, like, right away? The breath that you share when you kiss someone. It's this sweetness, it's this intimacy. I feel like there's something to that. Breath can also talk about, obviously, meditation and meditation work. Bringing ourselves into the present moment with the reference to the Hermit card. Hermit card in the major arcana, it talks about going through a dark night of the soul. You know, we can go through several dark nights of the soul in our lifetime. What does that mean? It means that you're going through some you're having a spiritual encounter where you're looking at things in your life and reassessing where it is that you stand as a human being and as a divine spirit. And some of those things that you've told yourself might be collapsing, the stories that you've told yourself. And it could cause a little bit of panic, you know, when we're having to question our reality. That's not an easy thing. And how do we face the fear that may be associated with that questioning? We go into a space of meditation and we just breathe. And we just remind ourselves of the present moment. We remind ourselves that we exist. We remind ourselves that in this moment we are safe. Because I assume that if you're watching a video on YouTube, you're in a pretty safe space, at least in this moment. I also see this as two things in the middle here. A disco ball, but also the top of a microphone. And the lines coming out could either be light, reflecting, refracting, or sound, projecting. Also see this over here is kind of like a sliver of earth, right? So it's like, in that sense, if this was earth, then this would feel like the moon. Take it as it resonates. Because maybe it's you're talking into a microphone and you're projecting your message out to the world, communicating. Or you could be communicating your thoughts to spirit through meditation. It's it's funny because sorry, it has something to do with that because my throat chakra is just closing up there. I didn't do that for the other two earth signs. I feel very uncomfortable all of a sudden. Like I have to, like my shoulders feel tense and like I have to switch my seated position. All of a sudden something made me feel very uncomfortable. But it's not my energy, it's yours. Or maybe your higher self doesn't want you to reveal things. I'm not sure. If you don't want to hear it, that's fine. You can turn this off. But I feel like there's something important that your soul, your higher aspect, wants to say to you. And you could be going into deep meditation to hear that message. But you're also at the same time afraid of what that message says. And that's understandable too. It's almost like when we start to heal and we start crying, we're afraid of those tears because what if they don't stop? I'm going to pull 3 cards for the base spread, 3 cards for clarifier. There is no particular spread for this reading, no past, present, future. It's just message that you need to hear in this moment to provide some clarity. Six cards on the table, 5 of them are in reverse. That's not a bad thing. It's just a way for me to read the cards, but it's notable. When we get so many cards in reverse, it's stagnant. I was just telling Taurus, for me as a tarot reader, the cards in the upright position feel as though they should naturally be there, right? It's like if there's like a pendulum, imagine, not a pendulum, a metronome that tells the time when you're playing music, and it goes tuck, 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 right? A metronome at its resting position is in the middle, right? So that's how I kind of feel that it can sway from right to left, up and down as far as tarot is concerned. But the natural position of the cards wants to be upright, so then when they're not in the upright, they still have a wealth of meaning, but it tells me that your energy is very much in flux. Perhaps that's why you need the breath now more than ever, because you could feel like a jumbled mess. I'm not calling you a mess. I'm just using that as an example. You could feel like a jumbled mess. Ace of Cups in reverse. This kind of hurts it hurts me to have to say it, right? That there was an opportunity of friendship or love that got missed. Something that could have really filled your cup, and it's in reverse. Maybe, aces bring new from spirit. They, all the aces come from spirit, and they're only possibilities, potentials. They don't manifest into anything unless you grab hold of it and say, I want to drink from this cup of love, this cup of friendship. And spirit wants to bring it to you. But if you're not in a space to receive it, it will never touch your lips, right? And they were talking about lips and the breath. I don't know if this is having to do with like lost love or lost friendship, but it could be a reason why my throat chakra was closing, because you don't want to talk about it, you don't want to deal with it, you don't want to think about it, which I understand. But I'm here to channel these messages and to hopefully provide you with some sustenance to maybe just get you through the next day. Because I've been in this position a few times, and it just hurts. And we look to life to provide us with solace. And finding joy in the little things is usually the key, right? Laughter, taking a walk in nature, eating a really delicious meal, swimming in a pool, breathing fresh air, reading a good book, listening to music. These joys of life that sometimes we take for granted. Finding the joy in pausing in those moments. Whereas the breath, this is how the breath comes in. To stop and breathe and be conscious of our place in the world. Right, so that's could be something that eludes you right now. This new beginning. Strength in reverse. Major Arcana number 8, Leo energy, talks about, the card in the upright talks about a mastery over our own ego and our maybe overinflated sense of identity. We all have an overinflated sense of identity. And that identity keeps us in separation from others and from the oneness of spirit, right? It's good to have a sense of who you are. At the same time, if you privilege that over everything else, it's going to be a really lonely experience, because we're social creatures and we're meant to connect. That doesn't mean you need to connect with any old buddy. Everybody out there doesn't need to be your best friend. On the contrary, we choose our soul family. We don't choose our karmic family, but we choose our soul family. And are we able to recognize them when they cross our path? Strength card in reverse kind of shows me that there's still some hurt and some bruised ego that needs to be healed. Which, you know, maybe this was something that could not be helped, right? And like, rejection is God's protection and all that. But it doesn't mean that there's a little piece of us that isn't hurt by the sense of rejection, the sense of abandonment. And kind of, even the way that I said it like that, I'm not meaning to be blasé or condescending in any way about it, but I realized when it came out of my mouth that those terms are used often, this rejection and abandonment, but they're used often because they still are things that plague us, the very core of who we are. If we were abandoned as children, if we were rejected by our parents or our family, if we were rejected by friend groups that just didn't understand us, if we rejected others because we didn't understand them, those are very pervasive feelings within our psyche and our ego and our identity. And they're going to trip us up every single time. Let's get a clarifier on the Ace of Cups in the reverse. Thank you, Spirit. Knight of Wands in the reverse. Knight of Wands in the upright is somebody who's very passionate, really is a go-getter, really wants to kind of make a splash and be really sexy and really kind of forthcoming. But in the reverse, it's like the Spirit made that wah-wah sound. Wah wah. Disappointment. Tried to move forward with a lot of gusto, and it just, thank you, Spirit. It ends up kind of just blowing up in your face, you know, like backfiring on you. You came through with all this enthusiasm, and then what you're left with is nothing in your hands. Right? And I don't mean to make you depressed or anything, but it's like this is the energy that Spirit is giving. They want to make you feel seen. Because maybe none of this is on the surface. No one can see the depth of what this is. And maybe you haven't even articulated it to yourself. So the fact that it's like they want me to say it, it's like a sense of like, I see you, Spirit, from Spirit. I see you. I understand what you're going through. That this is part of our exploration as human beings, a spirit living in a human body. It sucks to say like we signed up for this, but we signed up for the lessons. We signed up for the experience. Part of being a human is having experiences like this. Not all the time. We're not going to stay in this all the time. This is just the message that you need to hear right now in this moment. This is not something that is set in stone forever. It's just the energy that's coming through right now. Right? And maybe you haven't had a moment to take a pause, to take a breath, because you're just constantly in motion and you're constantly having to maybe deal with other people's feelings and deal with other people's situations where you can't even set aside time to focus on yourself, which is why that hermit energy is kind of bubbling to the surface. Capricorn needs to chill by themselves. And that could be really hard, especially if you're like a extrovert, to be alone, to be comfortable in your own skin, right? 5 of Pentacles in the reverse. 5 of Pentacles is all about abandonment, right? It's a sense that we've been left out in the cold. What was here was 2 arms open, come inside where it's warmer. But there was this sense that you couldn't walk towards it for some reason. It was complicated. The card though is in the reverse, so it's you in this process of letting it go. Difficult though, 8 of Swords. Trapped and bound in our own thoughts, in our anxiety, in our worry. This is heavy. This is a heavy reading. What are we so worried about? What it is that makes us happy. 10 of Cups. I just asked Spirit, what are we worried about? You're worried about if you're ever going to be happy. If you're ever going to have a home to go back to, a sense of home, not a physical home, a sense of where you belong. Is there partnership? Do I have to do this by myself, or is there partnership? Do I see the sun coming up over the horizon? Is there anything optimistic? Yeah, I'm going to pull another card on that. Two of Cups in the reverse, 10 of Swords, 8 of Pentacles in the reverse. This is divine partnership in the reverse. This is the fear. These are the fears that are just going to be left and abandoned, decimated, humiliated is the word that Spirit just gave me. People walking by not having any clue what to do, what to say, how to be. 8 of Pentacles in reverse, not wanting to invest any more time in it, not wanting to devote any more time in it. Is love a lost cause? I just heard. If this doesn't resonate for you, that's totally fine. It's not your reading. This is for somebody who just said, is love a lost cause? Number 5, sorry. The Wise One. This is the Hierophant card in the Major Arcana. This is Taurus energy. Talks about wisdom, spiritual wisdom, religious wisdom, consulting with messengers of the divine for answers. It talks about codes of conduct, rules and regulations. When the card is in reverse, it's kind of like shying away from spirituality, shying away from asking anybody else. It's something that you need to figure out on your own. And maybe Spirit has not consoled you in the way that you were hoping. But I see here 8 of Cups in reverse. That's 2 8s in your reading. 8 of Pentacles, 8 of Cups. So you may see 8, 8. If you see 8, 8 or 8, 8, 8, take that as confirmation that Spirit is with you. Your spirit guides are around you. 8 of Cups in the upright is walking away from a situation, right? Pouring out the cup. We ask Spirit for the cup, and then if it was in the upright, it would be pouring it out. But you got it in reverse. Whenever I see the 8 of Cups in reverse, it always signals to me homecoming. Coming back to the home, coming back to the self. The number 8 is the card of the self. Or, sorry, the number of the self. Can I get a clarifier on the 8 of Cups? 4 of Wands. The Judgment or Awakening card. Number 20 in the Major Arcana. Wow. I said coming back to home. I just saw 2222 on my timer there. 4 of Wands, they call this the 1111 card. Also a card of twin flames. But the 4 of Wands talks about building a stable foundation. It's a celebration of that foundation. It's a celebration of what we've built. But it comes with answering the call of Spirit. So the Archangel coming down to kind of wake us up out of our slumber from what our actual path is supposed to be. It's your life's blueprint, right? The idea that we came to this life with a blueprint, with a destiny. We always have free will, though. We can do what we wish to do. But when we get on our destined path, it's like all the doors of opportunity open for us because we're living out our purpose. And so Spirit is showing me, right? I asked, what is this homecoming all about? It's about your purpose. Maybe you are taking a time out from love right now because your purpose is calling you. That's certainly why I've taken a time out. Like before, I came to my spiritual awakening during the pandemic. Sorry, I'm just burning some Palo Santo for you to clear the energy. I came to my spiritual awakening during the pandemic. Before the pandemic, I was dating people left and right. I was so looking for love, looking for a relationship. I was so desperate for it. And I would use that word. I'm not ashamed of that. It's just part of my journey. I wanted love so badly. I was feeling this 5 of Pentacles all the time. I just wanted to be loved and understood and accepted. And I was just dating. And pandemic happens. I have my spiritual awakening. I haven't dated anybody since. There's been attempts, but not a single person. Because Spirit had a purpose for me. This purpose. Between you and me right now. This purpose. Right? And I've still asked myself, where is love? where is passion? Where is connection? In some sense, I have it with spirit, but I'm not a nun, right? So it doesn't mean that you're not looking for this connection, but spirit is saying you're going to find that connection in this unexpected place and come back to yourself by following through on your purpose. Thank you, Spirit. I'm going to read from the book, number 36. Breath. Inspiration, presence, life force. There is no more direct way to practice alchemy than to study pneuma. We all have access to the mystical phenomenon known as the breath. It occurs at every moment, gracing us with the gift of existence upon the physical plane. If alchemy, as is suggested in this book, is the merging of physical and mystical, then this card serves as our ever-reliant bridge. It is the magical within us, the expanding and generating life force that animates our life. This card may appear simple, but it is not. No matter how advanced you are in studying the breath, if you heed the message of this card, you will find it has more to teach. Bow to it at this very moment, and you will discover the work revitalizes itself. New space opens. Pneuma is your lifelong alchemical ally, stating its love with every inhale and exhale. Advice coming through right now is try to meditate this evening, the evening that you're watching this, whatever evening you're watching this. Go into a space of quiet contemplation. Just really allow the mind to be silent, and you'll start to hear things. You'll start to hear messages. It might sound like your own voice talking to you, and that's just fine. Listen to what the messages have to say. You're going to hear something really, really profound. Spirit is really wanting to bring that home. So that's your reading, Capricorn. I hope that it resonated. If it did, please like, share, subscribe, comment down below. Please hit the bell notification to be updated as to when I post new readings. Thank you, Capricorn.